Donald Trump is running full steam ahead, doing everything he can to doom his own chances of winning a second term, it appears. Fresh off of reports that Speaker Johnson is attempting to fund the government until after the election in a stopgap measure that he must appease both the moderates and extreme flanks of his party to pass. Trump decided to throw a wrench into it and make demands of his own. He posted this on Truth Social. He said, if Republicans in the House and Senate don't get absolute assurances on election security, they should in no way, shape, or form go forward with a continuing resolution on the budget. The Democrats are trying to stuff voter registrations with illegal aliens. Don't let it happen. Close it down. It's very exasperated. Trump posted that despite Speaker Johnson's plan to hold a vote today being imperiled, with headlines like this becoming the norm, here's the headline. It says, Republicans charge toward funding vote that appears destined to fail. So that's not very reassuring. Remember that Congress must pass a funding measure by September 30th to avert a shutdown. So we're all hoping that that is what ultimately happens. One that could doom, if it does shut if the government does get shut down by September this month, then it could potentially doom Trump's chances in November of getting elected to his second term as president.
A storm is tearing up the digital media industry. Only our audience can save us in these difficult times. Help us reach our goal of 100,000 new members at tyt.com/team.
The needle Johnson is trying to thread is to tie the funding stopgap measure to the SAVE Act. And if you don't remember what that is, the SAVE Act is the Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act, or SAVE Act, which would require documentary proof of United States citizenship to vote in federal elections. That could include a passport, a photo ID card that proves a voter was born in the US, or another form of photo ID along with supporting documentation such as birth certificate, the bill says. So they're kind of trying to fix what is a non-problem. But this is from the National Immigration Forum. This is what they say on their website regarding all of this. Exactly 1 century ago in 1924, Missouri became the last state in the country to ban non-citizen voting in federal elections after amending its state constitution to bar the practice. Yet decades later, the US Congress passed the Illegal Immigration Reform and Immigrant Responsibility Act of 1996, a sweeping federal immigration enforcement bill. While no states had permitted the practice in the previous 74 years, Section 611 of the bill went beyond the existing prohibitions to criminalize non-citizen voting in federal elections, making it a crime punishable by up to 1 year in prison. The law, however, explicitly left a door open for non-citizens to vote in state or local elections in accordance with state constitutions and local ordinances. While no state constitutions allow non-citizens to vote in state elections, some municipalities do permit them to vote in local elections. All right, so they're trying to pass a bill to make it harder to register to vote, even as several states are actively purging voters from their rolls, including Texas. And I live in Texas, so I'm very familiar with this. Johnson's contention is that if the GOP House passes the bill and the Democratic-controlled Senate or White House do not sign it, then blame will fall on the Democrats come November. It's all just going to look bad for the Republican Party overall. So they're saying that there really isn't a benefit to pushing this measure, and they're saying that this is a bad strategy coming from Johnson. Now it seems that Trump is supporting Johnson's plan there, but he's forgetting one crucial detail. Johnson's bill will likely not even pass the House, as at least 6 GOP House members have already publicly stated they will not vote for it. As for Democratic House leadership, Hakeem Jeffries has called the bill dead on arrival. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries tells reporters of the CR, why would extreme MAGA Republicans put a bill on the floor that they know is dead on arrival, might not even have the votes to pass the House, and certainly will see no daylight in the United States Senate? So don't expect a helping hand from them this time. Brett, what do you think is Trump's strategy here with all of this?
The takeaway from his strategy that everybody has pretty much come to understand watching Trump's behavior over the last month since he found out he was going up against Kamala Harris is Trump is actually a horrible negotiator, which is such a sad fact to admit, given the fact that his entire identity is based on him being this great deal maker. Like the fact that there was a debate at all yesterday and not before that and not on Fox News shows that Trump's a bad negotiator. He said, let's do it this day early. We'll do it with these rules. He didn't get any of that. Kamala was like, let's do it on September 10th. That's my position. And she got her way. Trump, he doesn't understand that all the stuff that Johnson was doing behind the scenes could have preserved the possibility that Democrats could be seen as against election security and against, I don't know, keeping the government running and keeping like things normal and open and being good leaders. Until Donald Trump shows up and goes like, I want to be the one responsible for shutting down the government. He did it before and he still didn't learn his lessons. Does everyone remember that moment where I forget if it was the Oval Office or some other room in the White House where he's sitting down with Nancy Pelosi and Trump goes, I'm going to shut it down. I'm going to shut the government down. And you just watch Pelosi and Schumer look at each other like, did he just say that? Because that's literally all we need to win this negotiation. And he's doing it again. And it gives Kamala Harris and company the chance to say, by the way, this is what Trump does. Like, he isn't even the president and he's ruining your life. We had immigration reform ready to go and he was like, don't do it. I want to be president again. I don't care about you. I care about me. And he submarined that deal. Johnson's like, let's just keep the government open and not make any sudden moves and just run on all the other stuff we think we're winners on. And Trump's like, no, shut it down. I don't want it. I want to be president. This is all about me. And he's so stupid. He doesn't even know that that move itself makes it less likely he'll become president versus more likely he'll become president. Because people just had it with Republican dysfunction.
Yeah, just the things that Trump wants to take credit for are very interesting to me because like the things that he wants credit for are things that his own supporters don't like. You know, nobody wants to see the government shut down because that involves all kinds of people across all classes of Americanism, you know, like the postal service, you're not going to get your mail, you're not going to get your trash picked up, all of these things that affect every single American person. So this is bad for everyone. And then on top of that, you know, he keeps saying these things out loud. And I feel like people are just like, the Democrats are like, keep saying that. And the Republicans are like, can you please just stop? This is already such a tense situation, especially for the Republicans, because remember, this is what got McCarthy out of the speakership, right? Like he was trying to appease all these different factions of Republicans within the House, and he was trying to keep the government open and keep it running. And then now Johnson is finding that that is a very difficult thing to navigate and a very difficult thing to negotiate, because even when you do what you're trying to do, then some people are still going to be mad about it, and maybe they'll kick you out of there. So we're going to see how that plays out. But since Trump seems to have joined the more extreme wing of the GOP in the battle to say over the SAVE Act, we can probably expect that side, the more extreme side of the House to prevail if history is any teacher, because that they tend to just get whatever they want because they're just more bullish about things. But given that very sad reality, we should look into defectors to Johnson to see if and how this 11th hour GOP civil war may influence the election.
Thanks for watching our video. Did you know that you can support our show by becoming a subscriber? Just click the subscribe button and also ring the bell so that you get notifications when we're live or when we post new content.